Welcome back to Guff Stuff Weekly Podcast. I'm Javen.
I'm Guff.
And we have a guest with us today.
I'm Mike.
Today we're going to be talking about something near and dear. Well, not quite near and dear, but something new and fresh. Not necessarily in the gaming world, but to us as a group.
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
Talking about Eco.
Eco.
Yeah. Mike can probably give us a little information on it. He's the one that set up the server and all that good stuff, so...
What is Eco?
Eco would be your not quite run-of-the-mill survival game. Think of super modern Minecraft, except everything you do has a direct impact on the ecosystem, hence the name of the game. Anything from the plant life to wildlife, there's ground pollution, air pollution, resources are finite, and it is possible to make species go extinct. Your whole purpose is to build a planetary defense laser to blow up an asteroid, which has a set time of approximately 30 real-life days, or whatever you set it to. And you start from stone and stick technology, and you advance your way from there. The whole point is to work together with a community of players to get the job done.
Okay, so my initial question then is, why Eco over, let's say, Ark or Minecraft modded or any other survival game? What makes Eco? I mean, you explained it, but like, what to you is the draw?
It's something new, something that we've all played Ark, we've all played Minecraft, and we've all played similar other survival games over the years. Eco is one that just kind of fills its own, I guess, specific niche that's unique compared to the rest of them. It's not your run of the mill survival game to the point where there's no death. You do have your need to eat. And whatnot.
I don't know. We tried to find death last night. Almost did, I think. I got negative levels, so that was pretty good.
Yep. Yeah. Well, mine is messing with some of the internal processes of the game. There's no actual death. Like the wildlife doesn't even kill you. But it does add an interesting incentive to want to do the survival parts. Of eating actually provides a bonus to your overall XP gain, which is definitely a unique twist, and it does something that most survival games don't do, and it encourages you to build a proper functioning house, and to maintain that house. Normal survival games, a lot of people just build a square and live out of their square.
What do you mean maintain it?
Well, in this one here, the quality of your house, just like the quality of the food you eat, has a direct impact on how you level up. And
I'm not going to have to go out and re-shingle my house every couple months, am I? No, you
don't need to perform minimum maintenance or anything like that. But
I was like, man, did I miss that somewhere in the intro?
No.
Holy crap.
But as you do progress in the game and you unlock more technologies and better quality things, you will be upgrading your house. So it would be a form of like maintenance, re-roofing, and doing a makeover on your house to get it up to the next tier, the next quality.
Yeah, let's talk about before we get into gameplay, let's talk a little bit about that XP gain. Because you said that the food you eat depends upon your XP gain. Well, from my reading and understanding it's 4 food groups, and you have to keep them roughly all at 25% of your caloric intake or your calories. And if you do that, you get the highest bonus possible.
Right?
Yep,
Okay.
That's correct.
What's the highest bonus?
I think it's
honestly, I'm not sure if there is a cap. If there is, it's probably pretty high.
I've gotten up to 38, I think.
Yeah, I'm pushing 80 right now.
No, I'm talking for food.
Yes.
You're pushing 80 for food?
I'm pushing, it's like 79 point something.
How are you doing that?
I'm glad.
I'm
leveling with him.
What the hell?
I'm just keeping up with eating my food groups, keeping them 25
best as possible.
You've
been eating cooked food as well.
Yep,
okay,
I have been buying up a lot of the
cooked food.
Where I just
eat agave leaves.
Yes, and I did that for, I would say, the first 2 days that we played. All I did was just eat whatever the heck I could grab for the calorie intake. Because everything you do in the game actually requires calories for what you're doing. So every time you swing that axe or that pickaxe or dig with a shovel, that's X amount of calories lost. When you go to craft a new set of tools or building materials, that's more calories lost for that project.
Right.
So you have to constantly eat to maintain that.
Right. I like that calorie is a currency, essentially. I kind of like that.
Yeah, it does a lot of things well.
It's definitely a unique twist.
The other XP thing to talk about is the housing. Now, from my understanding, you have a tier of house and a volume of a room. That's like your 2 main metrics. for measuring how much you can have for XP bonus in each room.
Yep, correct.
Yeah, no, I'm just listening.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I started over, so I essentially
true.
moved my house and everything.
But
so
that's kind of nitty gritty stuff. Let's talk about gameplay. What's the gameplay like?
I can't wait to kill Mike's lions.
Yeah,
he said we can make something go extinct. He's got one living on his roof.
Yes,
I'm gonna murder them all in the game and see what happens.
And it doesn't seem to go away.
What are the leopards? Maybe is what they are.
Yeah, I think
leopards.
it's the leopards that keeps reappearing on my 2-story roof now.
Yeah. I had a bighorner that a sheep that I built my workshop, and the walls were 5 high. And I started putting the roof in, and it was inside my workshop.
It's like, come on,
That's
man.
that's what happened with the cat initially.
And then it teleported to my roof.
Yep. That literally describes what happened with my big cat, because I was adding the second story onto my warehouse / house, and in the process, the cat somehow got teleported from the ground up onto the incomplete wall of the second story, and then it popped into the middle. And I tried to kill it, and when it ran away, it disappeared to the outside of the wall, and got stuck in a loop just running around the external second-story wall. Yeah. Eventually, I did manage to get rid of it, only to have it reappear the next day on the roof.
The flying bison was pretty cool, too, that Fluffy.
Yeah, yep.
That Fluffy ran into.
Yep, the great flying bison.
Yep.
Should probably put a statue over there.
80?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of ridiculous.
I got to 50 for about about 10 hours, and I'm like, I was thinking I was
sit
pimping.
at 30 normally.
I'm like,
So
damn.
I've noticed if because I only eat food that is listed as good.
Right,
I stay
right,
away from OKs. I don't eat any bads.
Right.
And I don't eat any raw foods anymore either. I only eat stuff that has been processed to some degree.
You must have decent. Like my problem right now is, out of the people who can make food, there's only 2 foods that I can eat. Yep. They don't give me bonuses in all the groups that are good.
Yep.
I have I have 2 deliciouses, and then maybe a couple good, but they're really low quality foods, so I have to eat tons of them to even go anywhere. Maybe that's my problem. Maybe your dude's got a gut that can just eat whatever.
No, because most of the foods I've actually found, my guy doesn't even like.
It's like,
I'm eating charred fish. That's pretty much the only meat I'm getting, because all the other meats I don't like, to include the campfire roast that was recently made.
Yeah, that was
don't
gross.
even like that either. So like fish, and I've been supplementing with tallow, oddly enough, to get the fat up, because the fish doesn't have a high fat content, and that's one of the major
just
food
adding
groups.
tallow to your food.
I don't have to eat very much of
Nice.
it, but it's like 13 or 14 bonus to
Well,
I
I seen the stuff that Scar was going to be making.
Yep.
And lots of the 18, 19, 20s
Yep.
bonuses for 2 stats each. Sometimes they were even 3.
Yep.
So I think it's going to make a huge difference if we can. Which I'll be doing that too, hopefully soon. Now that
Which I think will make
cast iron stove is huge.
Yep. Which will make a pretty big impact.
And we should be able to get baking today as long as people log on.
Yeah.
That should be completely doable.
Right.
Awesome.
Yeah, no, so the game has a lot of that. It kind of seems like micromanaging, but I think it's actually kind of fun to just kind of play around with that. The housing thing was a little confusing initially because, you get into the mindset in most housing, you just build enough to survive. Conan, Ark, Minecraft, Pixark, any of them. You just build your square, you survive. That's what you need because you don't want critters coming to get you. This one, though, they want you to build these huge mansions. Like in the picture on Steam, they show skyscrapers and stuff, and I can just see that's where we're going. Each of us are going to have like a, Empire State Building at some point because we need it. One floor for each of our crafting rooms.
I've found the best way to describe the gameplay specifically, because that's kind of what we want to shift into here. It's like between Minecraft and Ark, with a little bit of like Factorio or Satisfactory in it.
Yeah, a little bit of a. Yeah, well, yeah, because you got a lot of systems in place to streamline things. So.
The automation is kind of there. Like if you put the work orders in and have your supplies set up to go from one to another, you can kind of automate things. But like one of the things I would really like to see the game is conveyor belts. I would actually murder to have conveyor belts.
I'm sure because there are assembly lines that the mechanic can produce down the road, And I'm curious as to whether it functions like an actual assembly line would in real life, where you just set it up and it does its thing with
where maybe it goes from machine to machine to machine and just does all.
Or if it's just going to be used for making mechanical parts. I'm kind of hoping it's more the first one.
I think it's a crafting bench. It's all that it is.
Yeah, that's kind of my thought. But I can have hopes and dreams that maybe it'd be the cooler side of it.
A grabber arm and a conveyor belt would go so far in this game.
Yep.
Yeah, because if they have excavators and stuff like at some point and tractors, like. You're out there plowing your field with a tractor.
Yeah, there's even harvesting equipment for that tractor to harvest the field.
Yeah, the closer you can get to automation in games like these, the better.
Yep.
God, that's crazy. Well.
So other main gameplay points.
Yeah.
Teamwork and communication is extraordinarily important in this game.
No way, bro.
No way, bro. Yeah. If you want to be a bum and go live on an island, you're more than welcome to do that. But you're going to be traveling a lot to get what you need.
Yeah, I think... Okay, so I've been putting a lot of thought into this whole traveling thing. And yes, I agree that initially people should stay reasonably close to each other. But I think over the long haul, I think that we're going to end up moving. Some of us are going to end up moving. You moved way out in the middle of nowhere.
That's because that was where the resources that I wanted were.
Exactly. And then another player moved out into an island that's way out in the middle, but it's the only place in the whole world you can grow cotton.
And it's also the only place in the world that has the wetland biome, which will allow us to mine coal.
That's crazy. And so with that, and the growing, like the size of our houses, like... I walk past Mike's gadget stand, World of Warcraft stuff. It's just a war zone of trees and buildings and skyscrapers already. And I'm like,
mounds of resource piles.
It reminded me of World of Warcraft, not gadget stand, but the little gnarly dudes over by, what is the name of the orc capital? Orgrimmar. You head off to the west, and there's that toxic waste dump. Not that you had any of that on you, but it just felt like that war zone. I was waiting for goblins to come running off from the trees. And
I should preface this by saying, there's nothing wrong with living in a remote location.
Right, no.
But the idea of living in a remote location and trying to be self-sufficient.
Right, I think initially everybody should have stayed as close as possible. I think in the long run, though, we're going to find most of us are going to be so far apart from each other.
We're going to need to be.
We're going to have roads and trucks.
Because we're going to need someone to live essentially by the copper mine and mine copper. Yeah. We're going to need someone to live by the iron mine
and the coal.
Well, what we should probably do to for the listener's sake is explain why the teamwork is so important.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely.
And
go ahead.
that is
sidetracked easy.
In most, survival crafting games, you can do everything with the exception of you have a talent tree and you just take stuff as you go.
Right.
This game has the same idea of a talent tree that you go through, and it's based off a star system, and everything is broken down into different professions. And each of those professions has a handful of specializations. So, for example, your farming that's one specialization.
Right.
And each subpart of that would be gathering, the actual farming, planting itself, milling, cooking. Those are all different subsections of that one category. Then you have your mining side of thing. You can mine, you can smelt. That's two separate things. You have your masonry and pottery, and the list goes on and on. And you are limited to 1 point every couple of days.
That's a good exchange rate. Yeah.
Yeah, one point every couple of days.
I think it's going to get progressively worse.
The first three you get are pretty quick.
Yep. I would say the first three you get within the first, I'd say probably 3 days.
Yep, that's about right.
You get your first 3 points. So 3 different professions you can take, and each of those professions, maybe not right out the gate, but once you hit roughly that late early stage to midpoint of the game, become dependent on other professions.
Yeah.
I took lumber and carpentry as mine, but I'm at the point where I'm relying on pottery, and I need masons, and I need metal from smiths to provide. Food. And not to mention the constant supply of food from our farmers and cooks to progress anywhere.
Yep. It's pretty wild. And the important part about communication is, let's say Gamer Joe
Hey, bro.
Yeah. Let's say Gamer Joe picks X professions. Let's say he goes smithing and...
smelting.
Yeah, smelting and fertilizers. Okay. So he's going to be working with rocks. But does he have mining to process the ore?
Right.
Because you need mining to process the ore to turn it into a refined product that you can smelt. And so the trouble is that, like, if you want to contribute to, like, let's say, advancing the civilization as a whole, every profession has their time where they shine to, like, progress everybody, but it relies so much on other professions to get to that point. Like, you need someone who's really good at mining to get smelting going. And then you're going to need someone who's really good at smelting to start getting the cooking side of things going for the ovens and the stoves.
Yeah, you can't. One person can't take all of that in the beginning of the game. It's just not possible.
Yeah, and so
not enough points to
what
make it
happens
work.
is we end up in this loop where there is a demand for resources, and like the currency in game, like the shops and stuff, you can buy things from stuff, but like if resources aren't being funneled in a direction at a certain time, it delays the progression of the entire group.
You mean like you're having a house that gives you 75 points of XP bonus? The rest of us have like 5?
I've given...
Oh, I'm just saying.
I've made bricks available. I made sure to have plenty of bricks.
Just mess around. I don't care. It makes no difference to me.
And like the housing thing, yeah, that's a good argument. Like I talked to Mike. I wanted to get bricks to most people.
Yeah, but most people weren't even on. Like we
but,
played like 10 hours yesterday. And it was like you and me and
well,
Mike.
and that's the thing is like I'll give bricks to the people that are on, because y'all are going to use them. But the people that aren't on, they're going to have to pay for their bricks because they're going to have to work for it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because I'm not going to go out and spend 5 hours of my time to get resources so that they can have a better house.
Right.
Because what am I going to get out of that?
Yep.
They're going to pick another frivolous star? Like I don't care. Like, I'm sorry.
What's frivolous though?
Nothing's really frivolous. Like we haven't had any frivolous stars per se.
I mean, I picked one,
but it will eventually happen because someone's going to be like, "Oh, I want this," and then they're not going to talk to anybody, and then 2 people are going to have it.
Yep. Yep.
Which is funny because I talk to the other person all the time.
Yeah, I know.
Sitting 2 feet from me, picked exactly all my skills. I'm like, what the? I almost lost a daughter that day. Not really, but almost. Yeah. Anyway, sorry, back on track now. No, we're talking about this. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Go.
Go what?
You're the talker.
Oh yeah. The big thing: don't get angry in this game. Do everything you can to stay passive aggressive and not fully aggressive.
There's not much you can. I mean, there's not much you can do. Well, you can grief a little, but it's pretty. I mean.
The game does have a lot of systems in place to prevent the griefing.
So if someone locks you in their house, how do you get out?
So that would be one of those situations where, well, no, technically you just do the command unstuck. It will teleport you to the roof of the house.
Oh, okay.
So that takes care of that problem.
That's
there.
good to know.
Yep. But one of the other systems, as we found out from one of our now former players who tested the griefing mechanics, in this game, obviously, relying on your community is a pretty big deal.
Right.
And to assist the players with that, you can create a job board and you can post that you need, say, 250 lumber provided to you and you are willing to pay X amount of money for that job to be completed. And as soon as they drop off the required amount of lumber there, they get automatic payment on completion. Now, they have to have access to the resource storage area to provide that resource.
Right.
And as I mentioned, one of our players tried to do a little bit of griefing, I guess, some light griefing, and was pulling resources from the collection point, the stockpile, and turning them in to complete the job board. And even though the game did register that, hey, you're turning these in and you're completing the job, it refused to pay him for the service he was performing.
Right.
So even though he found a little bit of a way to be a bit of a dink.
Yeah.
The game had a built-in function to counter that.
Yeah, and then claiming all the property around said player's house too.
Yes, yeah. Like that was just a little unnecessary. But there are ways to go around that, courtesy of your server admins as well. So or you could just bully them into giving it back.
Yeah, I mean, we can vote him off the island. Which,
Yep.
I mean, kind of what happened anyway, so.
More or less, yeah.
All right. So let's leave it here for now.
Okay.
And next episode will be a part 2.
Part 2? Okay.
Sounds good.
Once we've been hit by the asteroid and die.
Yeah, well...
Kind of hope it hits your house.
Well, we might even just continue the part 2 from where we left off here.
Oh, gotcha. Alrighty. Till next time.